Nitro is the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills.
2, 1. Now it is time for the RC Gypsy Tales, brought to you by Rob's Oil, your one-stop shop for all of your AMS oil needs. Beaker, have you ordered your oil for the Janky JQ van yet? Have you done that yet? That means you haven't even thought about it. But you know what you should do, because we're going to, hopefully we go to America next year and we need the van to work. Okay, we need to put another 400,000 miles on it. Probably got another 10 to 20 trips across America left in it, carrying everything that we need. So what I want you to do is go to www.robsoil.com, order all your AMS oils, lubricants, and filters that you need to spruce that Janky JQ van up so we can drive it across America even more. You got that? Where do you go, Joseph? www.robsoil.com. Why AMSOIL, you might ask? Well, AMSOIL makes top quality synthetic lubricants for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, four-wheeler, snowmobile, lawnmower, and anything else with an engine. I'm sure the fifth scale guys use it a lot as well. AMSOIL lubricants are designed to help your equipment run at peak efficiency and last longer. Join the millions of proud AMSOIL users to experience the difference. All AMSOIL products are formulated, blended, and packaged in the US of A. I know I'm an animated talker. It's like being down here in the Dominican Republic. They talk with their hands a lot. So I've, learned to do that. All right, Joseph. So you're the guy who's traveled the most and had the most run-ins. I remember you telling this story on your Facebook Live. I don't think you've told it on the podcast, but let's tell everybody about the time you got kicked out of the Spanish Nationals and had the police called on you and almost went to jail for RC car racing.
Yeah, that was fun.
He says that was fun. This started your whole beef with is this the same guy who's in charge of EFRA, Carlos Gomez, that tried to kick you out? Or what happened?
No, it's another Spanish guy. It's I can't remember his name now. Pineda. Piñata, I called him.
Well, that
Carlos Pineda.
Probably pissed him off even more.
Yeah, well, he's one of those power trip people.
And I'm sure you just weren't having that.
No, he runs the federation, the national federation, I think.
Okay, excuse me.
So I was going to a Spanish national. I was sponsored by Ultimate Racing, and it was at the track in Barcelona. So I went there.
This is when you was fast, right? This was when you was fast.
I've never really been fast, but
well, you had a lot more pace than what you had now.
Well, arguably, yes. And so I got the Spanish license through Ultimate and entered the race and paid the entry and everything was set. And then when I was there, they told me that the organizer, so Piñata, he said I can't race. So all that for nothing, like flying to Spain and going to the race for nothing. So
yeah, that was
I said, well, kind of sucks. So they were still trying to get me to race. So then I was thinking, okay, well, at least can I just practice, because it was free practice, I think. And they wouldn't even let me practice. Well, you know me, I just went up there to practice. Anyway, I mean, how stupid can you be? Okay, I can't race, but at least since I'm here now, then let me run some laps. So I was up on the stand and driving, and then eventually the guy saw me, ran up on the stand, all mad, yelling. And back then I was still running an antenna. So when he first started yelling at me, I was almost by the pits. So I just cut the track so that I have more of the track to go, just to piss him off. So then, because it was taking so long for me to get to the pits, he tried to grab my antenna and snap my antenna. So I just leaned forward and drove with my arms, stretched out. So he couldn't reach my antenna. So then I drive in the pits and he's just yelling at me, and we go to the stairs, and he pushed me, like not super hard, but still, like, I was right at the stairs and he pushed me, so I like stumbled down a few steps, and then I got mad, a bit mad. I turned around, walked up to him right in front of him, and I yelled at him to not touch me, and then walked to the pits.
I thought
So
it was
then
gonna be some climax. I walked up to him and I yelled at him sternly not to touch me.
yeah, pretty much.
That's about
And
as
then-
violent as you get.
Then we were in the pits, so it was clear that I wasn't going to be able to practice or race. And they even had a protest. So Robert was involved also, and other drivers. They all walked out on the track and basically stopped practice. Like, no one could drive.
Influence.
And because they wanted to allow me to race, so all the drivers said, like, look, hey, just let the guy race, who cares. And then basically there was a 1 hour or so argument, or extra drivers meeting, and at the end, I guess Piñata had said that if there's still anyone standing on the track in a minute or whatever, then they'll lose their license. Now he has the power to do that, so then pretty much everyone just left, because if they don't have a license, they can't do the nationals, they can't do the Euros, Worlds, all that stuff. So I think Mark Ibars was the only one who stayed, which was cool of him. But he wasn't racing actively anymore, I think, so he didn't care if he loses his license or not. Well, after that, then I couldn't race, but I was there for the weekend. So what I did was, ironically, ended up at this guy's own track. So Piñata has a home track, which is also in Barcelona, not the track where the race was. So I instead went to his track just to practice. So I practiced there for all Saturday and then half Sunday, I think. And then I think it was someone from Ultimate picked me up and took me to the race to watch the semifinals and the final, and to sort of rebuild my car and all that stuff. So then I had been at the track a while, tore my car apart, watching the racing. And then someone comes up to me and says that I'm not allowed to be there. Like, I can't be in the pits.
You was just at this guy's track.
Yeah, I was just in the pits.
No, but you was just at the guy's track. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, he didn't know that.
Oh, God.
So
that he probably found out.
Maybe after. So then I was working on my car. Someone says I can't stay there. I was like, what do you mean I can't stay here? Why can't I stay here? So then the excuse was that there isn't enough space. Well, this was when the semifinals were running. So most people had already, they were already done. So they had already packed up. So there was plenty of room in the pits. So I said, look, there's plenty of room here. I'm not disturbing anyone. Just came here to watch the race and work on my car. Well, then, the situation started to get heated again for no fucking reason except this Piñata guy. And basically, I remember Roger from Ultimate said, like, look, I think you should pack up and go, because he's like threatening to call the police and stuff. I'm like, come on. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not doing anything wrong. And then, this Piñata guy was saying, like, he calls the police now, I have to go. And I said, look, just call the fucking police. I'm not going anywhere. So 15 minutes later, 2 police cars rock up. They had to stop the race again. I can't remember if they'd run the semifinals. They run one semifinal, the other one was going or something. They had to stop for like an hour and a half. Extra meeting. The police come in the pits. They surround me, like everyone's there. It was so funny. One guy took a video, but I've never seen the video. He refused to send it. It was a shame, because it was probably a cool video. So just imagine this scene. I'm there in the pits working on my car. Police arrive. They stop the race. Everyone comes in the pits. So 150 people maybe. So everyone's looking like, what's happening? The police walk in the pits, surround me in the pits, And Roger is like, hey, you need to go. You need to go now. So I'm like packing up my stuff. So everyone's just watching this happen. So then I pack up my stuff. Then I grab my car. I'm like, I had my car in the air, and I was like, hey, today's my birthday. Thanks for the present, something like that. So I walked out of the pits, and then I didn't know what was going on because no one spoke English. They were just speaking Spanish. So some guy came and said, hey, do you want to go for a beer? So I said, sure. So we went to have a drink and a sandwich. And then when we were done, we went back, and I had given the police my passport and information. By that point, I went back, and then they just gave it back to me and said that everything's fine. You can go back. So then I went back in the pits, and then they continued the race.
That guy is he involved in Spanish racing at all anymore?
Yeah. So this guy then, so the history continued then now in the Spain Euros a couple of years ago when Max was disqualified.
Mm-hmm.
So Max was disqualified because they have a system where you marshal before your race. And it was the first race in the morning, I think. And we were all there. Everyone was there. But they had forgotten to put the speakers on. So when they called for marshals, if they had called with the speakers on, we would have heard like, hey, all the quarterfinalists or whatever finalists go to marshal, Max, blah, 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 all the names. But we didn't hear anything. So Max didn't remember or know or whatever. So he didn't marshal. So then they disqualified him completely. Like he wasn't allowed to race his main, which is ridiculous. I think you shouldn't have penalties which are too harsh. You know, let him race, but have him start last or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That would be fair. So complained about that. They wouldn't let Max race at all. Fucking really bad decision, in my opinion. Same race. After the first semifinal, you have to leave your cars in Parc Fermé. That means that you leave it in technical inspection and you only get it after that cars from the second semifinal have also been inspected. That gives everyone a fair chance to repair their cars before the main because everyone has the same time. So in the first semifinal, Martin Wolanka bumped and made the main, but he got his car from technical inspection. I don't know how, but he got it somehow.
The
Or maybe he didn't.
gray area.
Or maybe he didn't even leave it at technical inspection. I don't know.
Was he
In
running
any
X-ray
case,
at the time?
He was running X-ray.
The
He was
X-ray gray
pitting.
area.
He was pitting behind us, so I saw that he was in the pits with his car, and I knew he had bumped to the main. So I was like, okay, this is a bit weird. And I saw Pinata coming. So I'm like, grabbed my phone. And that's the famous video now. It's on YouTube. That the famous, like, what did he say? Rules are rules. Rules are rules, he said about the Max situation. So then I go and say, hey, rules are rules, right? What's going on? Semi-finalist here in the pits, no Parc Fermé. What's happening? And then he gets mad at me. He even grabbed my phone. He said, use well this information. Like I shouldn't share this information. Like I'm putting this on YouTube, moron. So yeah, so there we just had a perfect example of the hypocrisy.
Is he
with
still?
this guy again? He's
Is he
still
involved
there,
in
yes.
EFRA at all?
Yeah, he's the Spanish Federation guy. That's one vote and one fucking handbrake in the whole system.
anything you put into play, he's gonna veto that anyway.
Yeah, but
you're
it was
fighting an
just
uphill battle right there.
such a stupid situation with Max. Rules are rules, and then this guy should be disqualified from the main. But no, that's fine. I, as the race director, will just walk in the pits and ask him to return the car that he was already half disassembling. So it was a ridiculous situation. And then going for the 10 scale Euros, also in Spain, he tried to ban me from the race. He actually tried to ban me from racing in Spain in general. And then he tried to ban me from just the 10 scale Euros. Like it got to the point where it was unsure if I was going to be allowed to race. And we had to have an extra meeting with him and some other guy from EFRA and a bunch of people just to allow me to race.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know
This
all
guy's
of that.
a class A moron.
Well, he probably thinks the same thing about you.
Yeah, but there's a big difference between speaking your mind and being open about your opinions and being a complete fucking dickhead.
Well, you know what, man? As long as we have people like that in power that hold personal grudges and want to do things like that and stop people from spending money and racing at their tracks and stuff like that, this is the reason RC is kind of going to stay the way it is. We need to get rid of people like him. People like him need to get the fuck out of where they are, because all they're doing is stunting growth for everything else, for someone new to come up and behind, holding personal grudge. It don't matter if it was you, it matter if anybody, honestly.
Because the thing is that with attitudes like that, you can't do the best things for the sport or hobby or whatever you think it is. You just can't. You don't do it. So that's a big problem.
Yeah. And that, when I say we need to get that old guard out, he is a prime example of what I mean. No forward thinking, only thinking because he wants to keep a hold of his little bit of power that makes him important. He doesn't want to release that. Like, you know what I mean? You are a threat to that. Anything new is a threat to that. That is widely a widely common theme in RC. So unfortunate. Oh well.
Yep.
I'm surprised you was allowed in Spain, period, after all of that. But good stuff and a good story. We wasn't sure if it was gonna be good, but I didn't know all the rest of that. So thank you for sharing that, Joseph. You know, this segment is getting harder and harder to do because we ain't traveling. So it's gonna be sporadic. And you have all the stories,
by the way.
Excuse me?
Just another note. The first incident happened in maybe 2006, something like that, close to that. And this was now 2017 or when was the Euros there? Like about 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years. And this guy holds a grudge, you know?
Yeah, man. Well, you know, a lot of people don't like you. And I get it. I don't like you most days. But, I mean, it is what it is, man. But this is an example of what we need to get out. These guys who don't want to relinquish that, you hold on to that power, so you do everything that you want to do, and then when new ideas come in, you shut it down. But you're in a position of power to shut things down. So it's shitty. It's shitty. All right. Well, anything else to add to that story before we go on any further?
No.
All right. Well, thank you, Rob's Oil. Remember, everybody, go check out www.robsoil.com. Show him some love. Showing the sponsor, show some love. Hey, if you guys have a wild story from an RC event, shoot me an email and let me know. Joseph, I think we're going to go on. No, we're going to go on to the JQ Racing rant.